Adam Tech is one of the top analytic guy on Dune. If you check, you would more or less have come across his dashboard from time to time. He's the one with the million views, the million views dashboard, and his dashboard is always trending. I'm sure there is no day you've gone to Dune that you won't see Adam Tech's dashboard trending. So welcome Adam Tech. So Adam Tech will be sharing his journey with us, pretty much, and then we'll ask our question. So first off, Adam, I want you to share your journey. First off, maybe your journey into crypto in the first place, and then maybe down the line your journey into analytics, data analytics, blockchain analytics. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so hi everyone. Super excited to be here, and hopefully you guys have some questions as well. Um, so in my crypto, I came into crypto in 2021 probably. So I'm not one of the super OGs, but 2021. Then I just basically have been trading most of it, and then because I wanted to get into it deeper, I started working for projects. So yeah, I mean, probably the basic journey that a lot of people take, like moderating, community manager. At the time, it was a lot of NFTs, so we did NFTs, working in marketing, and then eventually we were building a. In 2023, I think is when my daughter, because I did a lot of analytics for our marketing, so that is a little bit how I got into SQL in the first place. Found out about Dune, and we were going to build a trading bot, um, or I was working with a team who were going to build a trading bot. Basically, for those who are not familiar, I guess Axiom, Photon, one of these, like for trading meme coins, right? So I started doing analytics on that, and as you guys know, everything is public on Dune. So people started seeing it, people started reaching out, and I became really hooked on providing more data on different things. So I guess it's kind of unique in that sense that um, I didn't do any like major courses or any. I basically started learning data just to answer questions, and then since then, that's basically what I've been doing is just trying to answer questions, and with the feedback loop of always posting stuff on Twitter as well, which is something I would encourage everyone to do. You get this feedback loop of people always wanting data on something, you always providing that, and in turn, you always learn more, right? And you have to solve different problems, and you have to learn the basics and then decoding, all those things, challenges that pop up. So that's kind of the journey. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much nice. So basically, the journey has majorly been around trying to provide solution, and I think from what you just said, it's more like learning on the job throughout the whole the whole line. Not like you pick up a course or got interested and started picking up a course down the line, which is pretty much interesting. So now, my next question would now be now, for a whole lot of people who are probably newbies or just getting started, now that you know better, now that you've at least had this journey for like I think a year and a half thereabouts, what would you do differently if you are getting started now? If you are just getting started, how would you have work your way around your analytics journey right now? If you are to get started, if you are just getting started right now, based on what you know at this point in time.
I think so. I was fortunate and unfortunate of, um, I guess, posting too much too quickly, right? I got almost like addicted to the feedback loop of having feedback on everything publicly on Twitter. And I guess this is also unique. I guess this is a very unique problem to have. But I would take a lot more time to sit down and verify everything that I do, and do so much more, because that is also where you learn the most, right? You don't have to have people tell you that things are wrong. You can find out that it's wrong. Many times you can use tools like SoulScan. You can use tools like just basic basic cross-checking, referencing, or cross-checking your verifying your own data with other people's dashboards. There is, for example, so here's one thing that I would do when you open and you do your query, and let's say you do volume for a DEX, right? You can also check, are there other sources which is also doing this, right? So DeFi Llama, Blockworks, other Dune dashboards, and verify your own data, right? Because even though you believe that this is perfect, I've done everything perfect, I've written this perfect, like there can always be mistakes, not even in your code, it can be in the underlying data set, right? So verify everything 6 times. That is what I would say, because I think many times I'm still surprised by when I think something is so perfect and then finding flaws in the data, right? And the last thing we want is to smother ourselves and our brand and our reputation in
Yeah.
data that is not correct, right? That is the last thing we want.
Yeah, pretty much because I've actually been in that case before where I posted a particular data. Meanwhile, the actual problem was I misinterpreted the data and it's more like a crossfire. So yeah, so my next question would be around, I think a good number of your works is around Solana ecosystem. I think maybe I'm not sure where I saw this where you specifically wrote that you don't write EVMs, like you don't run around EVMs and the likes. What exactly informed that decision? Why Solana and not EVM? I mean, a good number of your works are probably Solana majorly.
Yeah, I mean that was just. I think there is two reasons for that. Number one, it's that is what was exciting for me. That is like the high throughput chain that was exciting for me to use as a user, right? So naturally, I started doing data there. And second off, I think many times I felt like no one was doing it, right? Because this is now there are many great Solana analysts, including you as well, right? But at the time, like I could not find data on Pump Fund. I could not find data on any of the trading apps. I could not find anything of that because it was almost like no one wanted to touch Solana. So I also felt in a sense that someone had to do it, right? And yeah, I think there are more ecosystems like that as well, right? Smaller EVM ecosystems. There's probably a lot of ecosystems that are untapped that people want data for. You know.
Yeah, so for you, it's more like okay, there's no attention here, and there are less people in this particular space, and it's a better place to shine much more because there are few analysts in the space. I get that. Now, now let's now come to the part of now on Solana. I think we were chatting about it earlier on in the call that I think the problem most people have with Solana is trying to decode the data. You have like close to 11 different accounts, instruction calls. Like in every data, there are like 11 different accounts passing through things across themselves. How exactly are you able to like decode Solana data? What's like the easy part or easiest step you think to go around decoding Solana data if you are to work on Solana data as an analyst?
I think the absolute best scenario, there's three scenarios, I think. Number one is you're in talks with the project and they can send you the documentation. So you know, basically, yeah, you get a sheet code for the decoding. Then it's fairly easy. Right? Then you can probably just copy any of my queries or any other query which is decoding something, change the basic yeah SQL for decoding, and then yeah just do whatever they say. Right. Or number two is you don't have access to the. In most cases, probably you don't have access to the project that you're doing this dashboard for. Then I've been looking at SoulScan. SoulScan has decoding for not like specific documentation, but you can see the decoding. If you go on SoulScan and you scroll down to whatever instruction you're trying to decode, you can see get an idea of the decoding. This one is a little bit like trial and error. You have to brute force this. Um, but that is the second option. The third option, which is the hardest, is you don't have documentation, you don't have soul scan, you don't have, like, no one has decoded this in the past, and then I mean it's just you and your grit, right? How much time can you spend trying to brute force this decoding? And that is not a funny position. I wouldn't recommend that. I've done it probably like twice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part where you say where you have to, you and your brute force. I think I've worked on a project for close to a week trying to like decode the data. And I was getting certain responses, and probably when I cross-check it, I found out that this is not right. Then I have to go back again and write the query. I think the best thing is just to look out for documentation. I think the best thing is just a blend of the three, because even with the documentation, there are certain times you still have to maybe brute force because they expect you as an analyst to be able to work your way around it. So, while we're on it, if you have questions that you want to ask Adam, you can just drop it in the chat box, and when the time reaches, I will pick up the question and ask. And also, when we get to the time, I can unmute your mic if you want to speak so that you ask your question. Yeah. So, my next question would be, um, for you, I think right now, what you do is now beyond the analytics phase, because right now you are more like the source of truth in that sense, especially when it comes to data in the meme coin space. Even when it's not even the meme coin space, people are expecting that, oh, whatever Adam Tech is tweeting or posting about is the absolute truth. How do you work your way to that level where it's not just your analysts, I mean, it's not just your dashboard on June alone. Now, your dashboard or screenshot of your data trends on Twitter is the source of truth on Twitter, on X, and probably on other platforms as well. Even in publications, because I think Cointelegraph at different point had published your work. How did you work your way to that level where it's beyond the analytics now?
I mean, uh, it's boring, but I think it's just human psychology of you have to be um, like I would never personally go to a Dune dashboard of a name that I haven't seen and take that data and reference in a research article, for example.
Yeah,
So
true.
I can imagine for the news articles or for like any analysts who's working on anything that they do the same, right? They go to DeFi Llama because they trust DeFi Llama. They go to Blockworks because they trust Blockworks.
Yeah.
And if they can't find it in any of those, they go to Dune. Right? And for Dune, it's pretty known that like, yeah, these are solo creators, right? So the data could say anything basically.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing you can do is just like try to establish your own name, and you have to find some way of doing that at scale, right? I think Twitter is the absolute best place for doing that, and that is how I did it. I set a rule for myself that I have to talk about the queries that I do, right? So if I build something about any of the queries that I do, I also have to be able to talk about or post about or do something about to make sure that it also feeds into some bigger something bigger than just me me being a data geek and doing data. Um, what that is for you, I guess you have to figure out, right? I think Twitter is still the best place, and it's so relevant for crypto. But I can imagine like that could be YouTube, or that could be a news, like a newsletter or an article or whatever. Um, yeah, so doing that and then doing that every day and talking about your work. I think that it's as simple as that. Just talk about your work and make sure that like try to establish yourself. and then people will start taking your data more and more serious, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So it's pretty much just making sure that you talk about what you are doing, as much as you have quality analytics queries or dashboard, you also need to keep talking about whatever you are doing at every point in time. Um, so
And then
before I move on, okay.
I guess importantly, importantly to mention also is making sure that you have high integrity in the work that you do. Right. So this is probably even more crucial than getting as many views as possible. Is making sure that the data is truthful, right? Because yeah, like we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
a very expensive mistake to
True, 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 true,
yeah.
true. So before we move away from that, I also want to ask that I think earlier on, like at the earlier stage, I probably have an idea of why that is, but I just want you to put better words in that. Earlier on, I think a good number of your dashboards were around boats, trading boats, Axiom, and the whole lot like that. Then before you started like Pump Fund and the likes. Personally, I think the reason for that is trying to move around whatever is gaining attention per time. So I want you to put how exactly do you decide that, okay, this is the dashboard what's doing, this is the query what's doing at this particular point in time? What defines what you work on per time?
That is just looking at what is trending
Trending.
right now. But
Okay.
I yeah, if you're like active on the news and checking like news and what's trending and maybe Twitter and stuff like that, seeing what's hot, I think it's a balance, right? If you just spend your time talking about what's hot, you'll never get deep into anything, right? I think also back to the point of like why the data became a source of truth was because I tried to master a very few things. Like there's only really two things that I've done. It's meme coin launchpads and trading modes, right? Lately, I've done a little bit more of like perp texts, but those are like very quick things. Those are queries that take max 30 minutes to make, right? What I've spent time on is trading bots and meme coin launchpads. And because no one else, yeah, it would take so much time to do that from scratch, right? I don't think anyone even want to attempt, right? And then that becomes kind of the only source of truth. And um, I'm not talking about other Dune analysts. I'm talking about also like um, actually big like data platforms, like we're talking about
Yeah.
DeFi Llama or bigger platforms. Like it's so much work to decode every Solana meme coin launchpad that people don't even want to try that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I think even sometimes it's probably when you've probably posted your query that you probably see some other data products now trying to like work the same thing around what you've already published. Now the next question would be, is still around that. So most times if there is any news right now, maybe something around Bonk or Pump Fund or maybe in the meme coin space or on Solana right now, the moment I go to Dune, maybe I go to your I mean your profile to check is either I'm already working on this thing, then I am very much sure you're already working on it. So how are you able to catch up with the speed? It's more like a speed of light. Like any moment there is certain thing, maybe a launch pad is launching or a particular bot is launching or something. If I go to your query, your profile and check your query, I'll find out that you already have a query in the works already. How are you able to catch up with some of these things? Is it that maybe you have some of the team members of this product reach out to you to help them work these things out, or you source it out yourself? How exactly are you able to go about being fast enough to get this query out?
I mean that's hard, right? It's always hard being the first, but I think it's also the funniest, right? Like if there's anything that's like starting to trend on Twitter, if we think about now, I think right now people are talking about gold, to be honest. So it's not much we can do with that. Maybe that would be like maybe that would be like, are people trading gold, crypto gold somehow? I don't
Yeah.
know, on-chain gold. But apart from that, a very recent one would be Binance, right? I didn't touch it because I wasn't because I was off last week. But that would be one that there was probably a lot of opportunity because everyone was trading on Binance. You had a lot of people talking about it, and there wasn't that much data from what I've seen. Right.
Yeah.
Um, I find it more rewarding being than just looking at other people's queries and trying to recreate that work in my own way. I find it like rewarding to be first on something. Um, and but being that is of course hard, and I guess your question is more about like speed, like how do I catch up, and I
Yeah.
think that is just from consuming Twitter, right? And trying to understand for my own trading as well, right? What are people looking at, what's happening, and then if there is anything that I can't find data on, I try to provide that, right? And that's not only like trying to be first at something, it's also like, yeah, if Binance, if everyone is saying that Binance is so hot, right? I want to see the data before I do anything on Binance. I want to see, is it actually hot, or am I wasting my time if I start trading on Binance? Right? So yeah, I think that just being in the ecosystem probably would be
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
advice. Participating in the stuff that you're trying to do data for.
True. Yeah, very well, very well, very well. So I think that because we are talking about Binance now, the next thing will be how do you weave narrative around, because of course at different point in time different things are trending, whether it is pump fund or bond fund or the prediction market at, right now, or at a point when we have football of fun. There are different things trending at different points in time that you could think of probably building a dashboard or doing something for. Now, the problem I think sometimes I have, maybe it's a me thing personally, is how to weave narrative around it, because I think a good number of time the data trends or what people are looking for is around the narrative that fits into data that fits into the narrative that people are talking about. So, for example, the current Binance, whatever that we have now, I think a good number of people will probably want to look out for, okay, maybe how Binance is doing against maybe all other sex, or Binance and Hyperliquid and all of those things. How are you able to like weave narrative around or be able to build a dashboard or data or query around the current narrative? Not current narrative per se, but how are you able to like own out your own narrative for what is trending? I think that's the best question. Are you able to own a narrative based on what is trending at that point in time?
Yeah, I mean, this is almost like not a data question at all, right? This is a question about storytelling, right? And
Yeah,
this is something
yeah,
that everyone who's doing anything worthwhile in, especially like social media, right? It's about storytelling and yeah, like finding a trend, identifying what people want to see around that trend, and then executing on it and presenting it in a way that people want to see it, right? Or not just want to see it in a way that either enrages people, that either makes people love it. Yeah, going to the extremes, right? Um, it's yeah. I think we're blessed as data analysts because we are the source. Like everyone else on specifically Twitter, they have to go and they have to find something to talk about Binance or about anything else if you want to compete in that. But for us, we can go straight to the chain and we can find our own insights, right? So that is a tremendous position to be in. How to do that? I think again, it's just about participating, right? It's about if you're not actively like interested in if you're only doing this because you wanna maybe land a job in the future or anything like if you're not participating in crypto or in Binance or whatever, I would say leave it, right? Because you have to be the most tapped in
person.
person
Yeah,
on
true.
that topic, what you want to talk about, right? So if it doesn't interest you, or if you're only doing it to get likes, or if you're only doing it, yeah, because you should be doing it, I think pass it, right? Like look at what interests you, and whenever the time is right, try to be the guy or girl for that narrative, right? So tomorrow, for example, for me, I said launch pads or trading bots. So let's say tomorrow there's more launch pad war or like launch pads start taking off. Yeah, then I would say, okay, I won't call my family for 2 weeks, and I'm just going to try to like do this as fast as possible, right? And try to provide as much insights as possible about this, right? That would be my advice. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. I think from what I can get from that, you have to be like you have to put your leg deep into whatever you want to write about. I think the first time on my most popular dashboard now, which is like the Pump Fund dashboard. The core reason why I built it was I think at the time I was trading Pump Fund tokens, and I saw your dashboard, and I just felt that I needed other information apart from the ones you provided. I was looking out for the market cap. What are the top coins that were being bought that particular day or during that week? I just wanted something different, and because I was neck deep into it, I decided to create something in it. So you have to like be neck deep in whatever narrative you are trying to work around. I think that's one thing I can get from that. So it's up to like 30 minutes that we've been speaking. So if you have questions, I think at this point you can raise your hand so that I can unmute you to ask your question. If you have question. So while we're waiting for question, now the next part would be, okay, right now you're an established analyst, you know what you are doing, or you know how to write queries and the likes. How are you able to go around, um, should I say, getting gigs now? Because of course, as an analyst, as much as you do it for passion, you also want to earn from what you are doing. So, how are you able to weave around the economic spectrum of what you are doing in that sense?
What was that like? Sorry, repeat the
Like,
question.
how are you able to incentivize what you are doing? Like, beyond just,
Monetize.
yeah, monetize, yes, more like, yeah.
I think there's two paths to monetizing that I've done. One is the optimal way. That is finding one way to get as much visibility as possible for what you do. So, just like we talked about, you become very good at perplexes, right? And then you talk about perplexes, and then when perplexes start trending and people start using perplexes, you try to bring all that traction towards your data because it's the best and it's correct and it's what people should see, right? And then you try to use reflinks, right? Um, and some type, I don't know, reflinks is probably not that, it haven't been that good. I don't know if you've done it as well, but I've done it. It haven't really been anything great. Maybe it's just the market that I'm in as well. But any type of, I guess, incentive structure like that, there's probably 1,000 different structures like that for different things. Um, Next thing would be once you are the guy for perplexes, and you start from the top. So you start with all the most important perplexes and you start adding them and you start doing data for them. Then the once you have the top 5 or top 10 and they start getting some views and stuff, then I can guarantee you that the top 100 launchpads are going to start reaching out to you because they are also going to be featured, right? So then it's just up to you, yeah, how you balance that of like asking for money, but also like adding as much as possible, right? That is one way you can monetize it. Um, and then, yeah, I think those are probably the two, right? Like trying to become the guy or the girl for some type of sector or some type of data set, and then talking about it and having people reach out to you to be featured, right?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Because what's also good about that is if you were to go and do like the position is very different, the position of negotiation, because if you people just charge you for your time, you have an hourly rate, and that's going to be based on some hourly rate for data analysts in crypto based on your experience, right? But if you have the dashboard for something, or you have you're the guy for something, they're basically paying for your brand, right? So you can increase your what you charge quite significantly, just because it's also like reputation, trust, brand, marketing, and data. So that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Just in addition to that, what would now that okay, you are the guy people come up to meet and all of that, how do you like create your rate card now? How do you, because I think it's probably a problem where you know your words, you probably know what you can do and what you can't do. So you have this work given to you. How do you negotiate around okay, this is how much I want to collect per hour, or this is how much this particular job is worth? Considering that since there's no fixed rate, it's not like there's any fixed rate for an analyst to work with. How are you able to create or work with to get out something from whatever you are doing? How do you work around a rate card in that sense? Yes, I think that's the question.
I think it's about trial and error. I would say in the beginning, pay no money or as little money as possible. Like probably in the beginning, do everything for free, right? Do everything for free, just to get your name out there and to get a data set and become the person for something like we talked about, right? Then once people start reaching out and you have two reaching out and three reaching out, you try asking for a little bit of money and see, right? And then yeah, once you become more and more confident and more established, you just start raising those, right? And um, it's hard. Like I had a very hard time the first couple of times asking for money, especially if it was like more than the hourly rate of something, right? And but what I would do is just like um, trust, like try to try to trust myself that what I was providing was valuable, and ask myself, is this a project that I really have to do, or is this like taking time away from Twitter and other stuff that I could do to get even better, in this case, client, or do more data that interests me, right? And if they want to take my time away from doing what I think is fun, like Twitter and building cool dashboards to build this whatever dashboard for something, then they're going to have to pay, right? And if they don't want to do that, and if they ask for like, okay, how many hours or stuff like that, I just say like, I'm not interested, guys. Like, yeah, you will just have to like grow that confidence, I guess, to be trust yourself and trust the work that you do, because data analysis in crypto is a very specific skill. It's a hard skill. Most people spend their time trading or doing marketing or BD or whatever, right? You guys have a very strong hard skill, which is hard to do. Very few people know it, and it's valuable, right? So charge for that. That's what I was thinking.
Nice, nice, nice. Just like probably a personal question, what's like an average rate? What's like an average rate for say a query or a dashboard now?
Well, now I'm not going to do any because I'm going to be working with,
Yeah, I know, right?
but for yeah, I've been charging. Yeah, I
I'm
shouldn't
putting
give
you on
out
the hot spot.
my rate. Maybe I could share with you or with someone, but I've been charging good money, like more money than you earn on any job, and anything. I think if I were to give you guys the numbers, you guys would run to Dune and start creating dashboards as soon as possible. So it's been very good. It's been very good, even for me. And I'm from, yeah, I've
No,
been working in the past, right, with US companies and stuff. So yeah, it's really, really, really up to you. And it's really about, like we talked about, establishing yourself as the something. And then you can start charging however much you want.
pretty nice, pretty nice. So I have few people that have questions, yeah. So I think the first
Yep.
person is Balaji. Balaji, you can unmute your mic and ask your question.
Thank you very much, Oladayo. Hi, Adam. So
Hey,
my
man.
question is this. If you were to build dashboards for infra teams such as OpenFort or ThreadWeb, what metrics would you prefer to like track to prove adoption or retention?
Which platform was this? Sorry.
I meant, okay, let me come again. If you were to build dashboards for infra teams like OpenFort or ThreadWeb,
What do they do?
Mhm.
what
Is there something in particular those infra team does so that maybe that will help him? He might not know the actual infra team now.
okay, 1 second, please, sorry.
So while he's waiting, I
So
think
yeah,
the basic thing is
okay,
just what metrics, what are the core metrics you want to track? Yeah. Okay, Balaji.
so for example, OpenFort makes wallets. Sorry, what OpenFort does is simply they focus on everything. 1 second, please, 1 second. Sorry, I think I'm continue, please. Let me sort out something.
Okay,
Sorry.
so the basic question is around what are like the core metrics you want to track, or what are the core metrics to display for maybe an infrastructure or a protocol? What are the core metrics to track?
Mm.
As much as you don't want to put all the data available, but what are the core data you would want to put in a dashboard? Like core metrics you want to put in a dashboard? Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, if this is just something you do because it interests you, right? Not like a job like we talked about. I mean, then I would just say focus on. Uh, there are a few like probably what everyone wants to know is like volumes, numbers of users. I still I didn't understand the protocols, right? So obviously depends a lot on the protocols.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Can I come in? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
sorry. What OpenFort does is they help developers add smart wallets and gasless transactions into their apps or games. And ThreadWeb also, they have tools to build and help deploy full Web3 apps and stuff
And
around that, just infra
and,
specifically.
and are their data available on chain? Is it trackable on chain?
Yes, for both of them, you can actually track their data
Okay, okay, okay.
on
Yeah,
chain.
Adam, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't understand fully what they do, right? Or like what's
Uh,
the type of infra products. I would say it's completely like dependent on um, yeah, what the core metrics are. Just try to look at the the core metrics like whatever the project should care about. Because in case you do this just because it's for your own interest, right? You still want the projects and all their team members and everyone to talk about it, right? So whatever is the core metrics, just try to identify those and provide as much as possible on those. Right?
yeah, yeah. Just to add to what Adam said, I think for infra that you mentioned, maybe a good one would be maybe number of contracts they've created or has been created through them, and the number of users, number of people using it, number of people that have probably created something on their platform too could be something that helps too. Yeah. So I think Easy Trend has a question. Easy Trend, you can unmute your mic and ask your question.
Thank you, Oladayo. Thanks for having you, Mr. Adam. Yeah, thanks for being with us here. It's a great pleasure to have you with us. Right. So I want to ask question. Earlier you said when you want to get work on some projects, what you do is to reach out to the project to get their documents why you so that you can get the rightful source, like rightful data, rightful information, I mean, for you to be able to pull out the data, right? So I was like, my thinking, because as you said, if we want to get visibility and all of that, we have to start, something free, just do it for the tech, just build for
Visibility.
visibility and all of that. So right now we are not actually working for that particular project. So I was thinking like, how do you manage to reach out to them when you are not working for them, right? Because I do feel like probably some of those projects will not want to just give out their some of their data. I have some kind of project like Step Finance, right? I've tried to sort out data to know how their some of their protocols work. Well, I'm finding it difficult though, but And I think I also have the chance to meet the team to ask. But I was like, trying to meet them. Probably I'm trying to ask them for their. Probably they don't want to release what they are doing to the public. So I was like, okay, if is it that easy to meet such projects and ask them for their documents so you can work on that on the data, why you are not actually working for them? That's my question. Thank you.
So I've actually never ever reached out to a project ever about their IDL. It's only been through when they are asking. Even yeah, that has only been when they have reached out asking for dashboards. Right? So honestly, I don't know. I can't imagine that they are that holding on to it that hard, especially if you want to build a dashboard, especially if you want to build it for free for them. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I've never reached out for it. I've done most of the decoding that I've done through just brute force and soul scan. Right? So I would say my 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 advice would be just don't wait for them. Don't like you said, like go to events and try to meet them. Just try to do it yourself. If you can't, move on to another one. Right? There's going to be if they don't get back to you, right? Just don't try to push it. Right?
Yeah, I think pretty much if you are if you are working pro bono, like if you are working for free for them, you necessarily the moment you hack the team and they feel that they don't want to or the documentations are not publicly available, if you've probably tweeted at them to know if there is a particular place you need to check the documentation and it's not available, and if you've probably tried to use their product so that you can, I think that's the brute force Adam is talking about, where you use the product so that you can try to like get the program idea and the program idea of if it's on Solana now, or be able to have a work around how the data works by yourself. If you're not able to figure that out, then it means you have to move on to another project that would probably afford you easy accessibility. Yeah, thank you very much, Adam, for
Yeah.
that. So Gideon, I think Gideon is the next question. You can ask your question now, Gideon.
Okay, GM everyone, GM Oladayo, GM Adams, and thanks for the opportunity. So my question is, how does a day look to you, Adam, as an on-chain data analyst? That is my first question. And then my second question is, where do you see the space going? Because yeah, as we all know or have figured out, is we have all these other participants in the space, but on-chain data has not really been on the forefront. So where do you see the space going to, and how does a day look to you as an on-chain data analyst?
Mhm. You mean like daily, like routine, right? Like day to day.
Yeah, yes, no, not really day to day, just a day that you know, this day have this and this product or this and this project that I need to tackle, and I need to present them this and this data. So how does a day or just a normal working day as a data analyst look to you?
um, yeah, I mean, I think importantly, I always spend time trying to, like we talked about, like keeping up with crypto, right? I think that's very important for anyone who's doing anything and anyone, especially as us for data, right? Because the last thing we want to do is end up spending time on something that's not relevant, right? Then, yeah, so I would spend an hour or a couple of hours with that. Then I would just I don't know, man. Start doing data, start writing as much as possible, start doing as much data as possible. If there is anything cool on the way, any findings, anything, I will make sure to talk about it on Twitter. Um, then I will get back to the data. I will try to try to provide whatever project I'm working with their things as soon as possible, and then yeah, hopefully get an hour or two to chill out, but before I go to bed at night. So very very yeah, that's it, I think. Uh,
And
whereas, was that a good reply? What was the other questions?
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. I just try to
Okay,
make
yeah.
sense of
I think the
that.
second question is where do you see the data space, the analytics space going? Considering that okay, maybe few there had been few lights on it, just like as you mentioned, compared to marketing, the BD guys and the likes, there had been few spotlights for analysts, maybe until recently. But where exactly do you see the on-chain analytics space going maybe in like few couple of months. I wouldn't say few years because in crypto a day it's already a whole lot of, so in like few months down the line, where do you see the analytics space going?
Yeah, with crypto as a whole, I think there's more to come, right? It's a little bit red right now, but I think definitely like I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I also have a lot of most money in cryptos. I hope that it's gonna keep going up, especially with all the regulatory stuff in USA and stuff. I think there's more to come with on-chain analytics. I mean, it's just I feel like there's so much that needs to be done, right? The more I do data, the more I realize how little data there is for stuff and like how much need to be done. Uh, there is, yeah, I find things every day that just needs to be done data for more than there's hours in the day, right? And with Solana specifically, right? There's so much data missing, and even data that is like floating around that's not even correct, right? So, and as crypto scales, there's just going to be more analysts. So, and people don't want, like, I think again, you guys have, or we have a very hard scale because most people are just trading or like trading or building or like some marketing or tweeting. Like, we have probably one of the most valuable skills, which is being able to scrape the actual blockchain where everything is happening. And I think that more and more things are going to move on chain as time goes, right? As the world gets more blockchainized, more and more things are moving on chain. We're seeing like stocks are moving on chain, and we're going to see more and more stuff coming on chain. So being able to pull any information from the blockchain, in my head, must be one of the most valuable skills for the next 5 to 10 years. Right? Maybe not, but I think that is moving money and being able to scrape the blockchain. Those two, I think, are the most valuable skills.
Yeah, pretty much. Considering that even right now there had been like um, a lot of delve into decentralization. We have more people now moving away from the central exchanges that we have, that where the data are much more siloed within the walls, now to DEXs where you can easily read all the data, considering that it's on chain. And even pretty much right now, we have stable coin already, we have Visa moving on chain, we have Stripe and all the likes. And that would pretty much mean that we get to analyze the movement of all of these monies from top products across the world, as the case may be. So yeah, we're pretty much using 1 hour. I think the last question I have here is by Olamide. Olamide, you can now ask your question.
Hello, GM. Um, Thank you, Adam, for taking out the time to even talking to any of us here. I really, really do appreciate that. You have been one of the guys who I look at whenever I try to, just necessarily just build anything. But my question for you is, whenever you're actually down building, let's say dashboard, for example, there are a lot of things that come up, a lot of data that you actually see, or a lot of metrics that come to mind. So, for example, let's say you're working on volume, and then you see that there's a breakdown of you having to deal with or having to push out a daily a daily volume visualization, a 7-day volume visualization, or like a 30-day volume visualization. What necessarily pushes you towards one part of that type of visualization, or do you just necessarily just throw out the query table like that? But what's really just makes you settle on one, or do you necessarily just push everything out? But I believe that that would make things much more bulkier for your audience to understand. So I just want to try to understand your reasoning behind something like that.
I think a
So
summary for
your
that
question
question.
is,
There's a summary of that question is I think it's more like what you answered the other time. Like, what do you count as the most important metrics considering that there are a whole lot of data. Say, for example, volume, you have daily volume, 3 days volume, 7 days volume, monthly volume. What exactly makes how exactly do you make the actual decision to go for maybe a particular one to pick out to push on your dashboard?
Yes, correct.
I most of everything I do is daily because I find weekly to be like if I look retroactively at something, I will do probably weekly. So right before our call now, I was looking at uh, uh, GMGN, which is a trading bot. I was
GMGN,
looking
yeah,
at their
yeah.
Binance. I was looking at their Binance volume, and that I did weekly because I'm looking retroactively at something which I haven't tracked before. Right? But other than that, I find daily metrics much more interesting because I track the market every day. So I want to know when I wake up in the morning and I check my data as a consumer, I want to see what happened yesterday, how much trading volume happened yesterday. Right? I find the weekly overviews to be too, for me, my attention span doesn't last that long. And I think that's also have been appreciated by like traders and stuff because a lot of people in crypto trade on daily time frames
Yeah.
rather than weekly. So, but maybe for like bigger protocols, maybe for I don't know lending protocols, which isn't really that dependent on the day to day of the market, maybe weekly is better. Like monthly, I would only ever do if it's like retroactively looking back very long time over something that happened. Never for like a published dashboard, which I intend for people to use daily. I would never do monthly. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are already running out of time. Sunday, you can ask your question. Please, this is the last question we are taking. Yeah, Sunday, you can ask your question.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, this question is for you, Dayo. I want to
Oh,
ask if this space was recorded because
yeah, it is. It
I
is.
kind of missed it. So I asked my question earlier, so I wasn't able to get the answers to my question. I just want
Oh,
to know if
okay.
it was recorded.
Yeah, it is recorded. I'll publish it on YouTube when the section is done, so you can always
All right,
watch it there. Yeah.
thank you,
So
thank you.
so thank you very much, Adam, for your time. I mean, you've stayed here with us for close to an hour. So what would be like your parting words, like a general advice for everybody just getting started? Maybe they are just about to start up their journey, or they are already in it in between and trying to like maybe find one or two things as something important to do on chain, or probably already established. What would be your advice generally for the analytics sector generally?
Um, so I don't know exactly what level you guys all are, but I mean I wish you all the best of luck. Like I said, I think the on-chain kind of analysts are super valuable. I think there's going to be a large need of them. We even have like the U.S. government tracking on-chain metrics, right? So you guys are at the perfect time doing something super valuable. And as like concrete advice, I would say if no one sees the work that you do, you might as well not do it, right? So Ulade as well has been super good at talking about his stuff on Twitter, always talking about his stuff, and you have to eventually start talking about your stuff because I myself have also been just like I don't know, data jerking, just doing it for fun, right? But unfortunately, for you to become the best analyst, you have to post about it, and you have to get feedback, and you have to get eyeballs. So do that as much as possible, and I think you guys are going to be super successful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think the core of what I can pick from this session is like you have to be very comfortable in what you are doing, have fun with what you are doing. You can probably see from his whole explanation that he's having fun with what he's doing because it is more like his life, his day-to-day life, and it doesn't also enter that as much as you are pushing dashboard, creating queries, you also want to make sure that you are publishing your dashboard, you are talking about what you are doing because if you're not talking about what you are doing, I mean, no one else will know exactly what you are doing. So you want to make sure that you are publishing what you are doing. So I know a lot of us have been able to like pick out a whole lot of things from this session, and I want us to go on Twitter and talk about it, and also tag into and talk about what we've been able to pick out from this session. Next week, this particular session will be on YouTube the moment we are done with with it. I'm going to edit it and publish it on YouTube. And next week will be the final section, will be the final Q&A with the data head at will be the final session with the data head at Uniswap. Yeah. So that will be like 7 p.m. I think 8 p.m. around 8 p.m. 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Nigerian time. So you want to check your calendar. For those, you might want to check your calendar and click yes so that you have a notification for the meeting. So that will be like the final mentorship session in this track. And I want us to talk about what we've learned in this particular session. So thank you everyone for joining this session, and thank you so much, Adam, for gracing this occasion to answer all of our questions. And I am wishing you all the best in your new role.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night. See you guys.